check the shit.
And then, like, you have to be available from the 8 to
5
8.
hours.
Yeah,
Like,
the fuck? Rando ass time keeping me hostage in my own house. Dominion.
Hoes. Shit.
Well, that was Ashen. Big Dog shitting
There
on
you
the
go
power
again.
company.
Who knew?
This is Conscious Reconstruction
Shouldn't expect
in the
anything else at this
motherfucking
point.
building. We here. We done turned in the application.
Turn up.
We can't tell y'all for what,
Nope.
but it's coming. And if they don't accept us, it's coming still.
Yo.
Because
On the way.
it's a banger. We got a banger ass show today. Ash is in charge. You had the question. I didn't read it.
He'd start with his news.
News.
Yeah.
But I just meant like,
Oh, the other half.
we know Jones do the news.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
the
just running the topics.
I'm the head honcho.
Huncho.
Yeah, all of that. Hunching and hoes.
Hunching hoes.
Yeah, hunching all the hoes.
Trying to hunch some hoes.
Yeah. Hunch one hoe, hunch two hoes. Maybe a four
Hunch 'em
hoe.
all.
You gotta hunch all the hoes. A little hunching. But we're not gonna do no hunching right now. Right now, we doing some potting. And since 2 people won't sing the song with us,
Big pot.
no, you don't get to say potting because you don't want to sing the song.
Big pot.
I need you to get high and sing.
No, I'm not smoking with you no more before podcast.
Last week,
because
that
I wasn't saying shit.
She was just sitting there.
I'm
She was
so
just sitting there
bad.
last week with the
Niggas
fucking
like-
microphone on her titties. She was like,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, no, I can't really think
That's
of nothing right
crazy.
now. I'm high.
That's
I ain't
crazy,
smoking
yeah.
shit.
The crazy shit is, you told us that what happened. You told us that what happened.
I know, because I'm not functional when I'm high.
I mean, why not? Why you not gonna smoke no more
You
with
gonna
me?
have me that blunt soon as we fucking press play.
It was
As soon as we
only.
press record.
It was only a little
No.
smoky smoke.
Nah.
Who smokes? I don't smoke as much as you do. So that
It was
shit
only
is
one.
His goofy ass talking about some ass.
20%, 22% THC.
Hey, it is.
Nigga,
It is.
wait,
though.
we got percentage now?
Yeah, it
I'm
shouldn't
high.
be here.
Yeah.
He was so excited
hey,
about that
hey,
fucking
hey.
cracker and peanut butter.
Oh, yes.
Hey, no.
You should dip the cracker
Hey, no.
in the peanut butter.
I had that nigga Zay try. I had let that nigga Zay smoke some of the pack, and he was like, he's like, this that shit. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm like, oh, hell no. Never again.
Why not?
Never again. I'm alright.
That's how it's supposed to be.
No.
What's the
I
point of
wanna-
getting high if you're not geek?
Okay, not high before it's time to do something. Not for me.
I was about to say, like,
You.
I get high all the time.
You get
Maybe
high
it work
during the
better if
shit.
it's not an indica.
Huh?
But maybe it work better if it's not an indica.
No,
Maybe.
fuck that.
Because I mean, it seemed like she just got stuck.
I was.
I don't. Well, okay, so
I'm talking about for her.
I only smoke things that really like do couch lock to you, like
Apparently.
real. Like they give you a real body high. They gonna put you right where you at. But that's because sativas make my head hurt. Cause I feel like sativas are Reggie. They don't really give me. Some people don't feel like that, but I have a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
I naturally don't get sleepy until around 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I probably only sleep till 9. That's the normal routine for me.
I'm alright on that shit that you be smoking. It was some gas. I'm not gonna cap.
But
no,
so I
brother.
need something that's gonna
I'm
like
alright.
slow me down a little bit, and then that helps me like pinpoint my thoughts and everything like that and
Yeah.
focus. Sativa makes my head like explode with thoughts.
Mm.
My head's already exploded with thoughts, so I don't need
Right.
that. Then my head starts to hurt, and I'm not
That makes
high.
sense,
I just
though.
got a headache, and I'm not high.
That makes
Fuck
sense.
this shit. So I only smoke indica or hybrids.
I'm alright.
All sativa is trash. Well, no, there's one sativa called "Where's My Bike." That shit.
What?
It's
That's a
yeah. It's
weed
called
name.
it's called
Where's
"Where's,
My
My Bike."
Bike?
Yep.
That shit is flame. Oh, that.
Oh,
I
where's
was,
my bike?
You know that shit
Sounds
good.
like-
Did you see his
It
eyes rolling
sounds
back
so
in his
love,
head?
like,
Yeah.
ooh, where's my
Where's
bike?
my
yeah,
bike?
I love
Dude,
that
where's
shit.
my
That is
bike?
one of my favorite strains. That is
No.
probably that and Dutch Treat are probably like my 2 favorite strains. Just like if I'm just like randomly picking ones,
Yeah.
like Dutch Treat is one I can think of off the top of my head that I really like. And then Where's My Bike is another one. There was a Sins OG, like the word sin.
Mhm.
It was Sins OG. That shit was so good, but they stopped making the strain, or at least the place I was getting it from stopped carrying the strain.
Mm.
they carry everything else from them, but they don't make sense OG no more. I'm like, why did y'all get rid of this shit? Was the best shit y'all had. But this next pack I get is about to be even crazier.
I'm alright.
Right, I'm already like,
Nah, I'm good.
No, we're gonna have to smoke again. We're gonna smoke together.
I
But
only hit that blunt like twice.
it's not even gonna be before the thing though. We're not gonna smoke before the thing. We're just gonna smoke and kick
Listen,
it.
I'm old now. I get off work at 4:30.
I'm older
I don't know
than
what
you.
To do with myself.
I'm older than you. Let's kick
Hey,
it.
I'm saying.
All right, we can kick it. We can kick
Mentally.
it. How
I'm a
I need to
64-year-old
start
woman.
smoking at 8 o'clock in the morning if that's the case. Fucking with you.
I mean,
Shit.
what we could do is, how about you get off work, you come through. You got a laptop?
I do have a laptop.
You bring your laptop. You get on your creative vibe.
But
I get on my creative
it's not
vibe.
gonna work, sir. I'm not even gonna lie to you because I'm gonna be sitting there looking at the screen
Eating
like,
Cheetos.
what the fuck? No, it's dead ass. Eat some spicy Doritos.
It's not gonna make you get creative.
All Hershey almonds.
I'm telling you.
With a lemonade. Sitting there looking goofy as fuck. When I'm at home in my creative space, I'm barely smoking anymore. Like, I'm just like, all right, let me focus. It doesn't work like it used to for me. And then you got some gas, and I'm not about to set myself up like that. I'm sorry.
See, now, yeah, you're right. Cause this next pack I'm getting,
I'm not. You're not about to sit up here and have me fucking
Like-
stuck on stupid again.
you could probably get an O for about 100.
That's a banger.
And it's gonna be
That's a banger.
it's gonna be some good shit.
If it's that's what I'm saying. If it's like some backpack, it's a banger.
Hold on. Cause it's so yeah. I don't know why you're not gonna smoke with me though. So like we had to
I
say
don't
some
smoke
stuff off
anymore,
air
so
because
Sorry,
super packed though.
I don't smoke anymore.
It's gonna be like
Quit today.
I gave up
Minute
on
I quit.
Gave up on it.
I thought we was friends.
And this, we are friends.
All right,
We're
so
just two friends,
oh.
one that smokes and one doesn't.
what if we how about
Don't look over
we
here.
get geek? Obviously not you.
Okay.
You can have a little alcohol, little drinky drink.
Okay.
Why you shake your head no at first?
Because I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to get me to smoke, but never mind.
I didn't say
No.
it's a little alcohol.
Everyone stopped. Everyone's like, nah.
Yeah, a little alcohol for y'all, and we just all go to the whatchamacallit, escape house.
Escape room.
Exactly.
I was already thinking about that.
Yeah, like-
that was already on
I'll
my mind. I'm
I'll
like,
get high for escape room. I'll be
See?
in that bitch looking stupid as hell.
I can't
The
escape.
key is behind the wall in the safe under the floor. How is it behind the wall and under the floor, bitch? It is. Look. What the fuck?
It's right there. It's right at that
Alright,
corner
yeah.
precipice,
We
right
gotta go
there.
to the
No,
escape
where
room.
they
it's right
meet.
there. It said, go left and find the right way. Right to the direction right.
Hey,
you don't understand?
Hey, but tell why I would be listening to her.
Yeah.
Tell like watch your high
Right,
end
right.
logic
You
be the
get
right
it
way.
right.
Your high logic is gonna definitely be right. I already know it's gonna be the right shit. And I'll be like, I gotta listen to what she said. 'Cause no, that's just.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, y'all been in here for an hour and ain't got nowhere. y'all
literally
no.
been
y'all ain't
standing at
get
the
nowhere. Y'all been
entrance.
standing in the same spot.
Standing
We looking
at
at
the
y'all on
entrance.
camera. We thought the fucking shit was froze. What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
But I do have some sad news before we turn it over to Jones.
Tell us.
For all those that care, especially me, Insecure won't be coming back until 2020. That's very disappointing. You haven't watched? That's fine. I don't watch Insecure either.
I still. Oh, that's right. You listen to
The Insecurity, the podcast.
yeah.
So I know everything that's going on. I love Insecurity. Or Crystal and Frat. I love Frat. Frat is hilarious. Crystal is hilarious. Insecurity is hilarious. And I don't have to watch the show to like know what's going on and still be a part of like
So
the
they
community.
continue the story, but they continue the show, but on podcast.
No, Insecurity is like an episodic breakdown between Crystal and Fran, and then they like speculate about what's gonna happen on the next episode and things like that. And so it's just like a cool little like because you get everything that's happening in the episode. They play little clips because like it's syndicated through HBO and with Issa and everything like. So they work with them. They've had them on for a couple of episodes like in the beginning of the season. They'll bring them on to like kind of talk about what the premise is or like their idea for what direction they were going in, and then they kind of just like guess about shit, and amazing. And I've never watched an episode for real, but I definitely listen to the podcast faithfully, and I know exactly what's going on. I feel like I'm fully into the show.
What the fuck going on.
It is great.
I've always heard good things about it, but I just never watched it.
I know it's a great show.
I only watched one season and I just stopped. There's literally no other reason. I just was like, nah.
You didn't like it?
I loved it. Then I was just never caring a fuck about it.
I was just like,
No,
nah.
I do that same shit.
I was just about to say.
Like Sons of Anarchy, after they killed Jax's wife, I couldn't do it no more.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I was like, no, I stop. This is it.
Watch.
Supernatural, same thing. Like, nah. After all of them became demons.
Supernatural ended after season 11. All right, it was over with.
Exactly. Because everybody will recycle demon.
I don't even know what happened after that.
Me neither.
That was the end of it. I was like, no.
My father watches it from time to time. I chime in. Oh, Dean the demon this season. All right, bye. You know what I'm saying? Castiel fucking up. Oh, okay.
That sounds like right.
Yep. The mom came back.
No, I got through 3 seasons of Blackish.
Never watched it.
While we're talking about things, being low rel isn't gonna get a second season. And,
Who?
The Rel. Or Rel, the show. All right, so the comedian Lil Rel has a show on Fox called.
You know Lil Rel because you've seen Get Out. He's the
the one with glasses.
Yep.
Okay.
That's real.
His show is not being renewed for a second season.
Was it funny?
Apparently,
it was like
so.
no.
Go with your point. I'm gonna say
it was like comedy, but it was comedy that was tackling issues.
Oh, okay.
That
probably was good.
It was decent. I mean, they were in Chicago. They talked about things going on in Chicago and like just like black people and things of that sense. He played I don't think he played himself. He played the character he played just fresh out of a divorce, and she took the kids and moved here or Cleveland.
Of all places.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel it.
Dealing with that while his family.
What you mean you feel it?
And Sinbad was his dad.
I love Sinbad. I know people probably think he corny, but I really do love Sinbad. That was the first comedy special that I ever watched, and my parents let me watch because he wasn't cursing, he wasn't being too vulgar. But then I would sneak and watch Richard Pryor. Pop that tape in the fucking VCR.
The tape always made it easier.
Hell yeah. Rewind that bad.
Yo,
of course, she was looking at Richard Pryor.
Though had to rewind that shit.
But they said like their reasoning for it, or like the thing they put up and said is like, well, he didn't get enough viewers, of course, and he didn't properly utilize the spot after Family Guy.
How does one?
It came on after Family Guy.
How does one utilize
the
spot?
Like, basically, what they're
y'all
saying.
put him in a trash spot.
Yeah, like after Family
spot,
Guy.
After Family Guy, I turned the channel like.
Yeah.
But see, no, what they're saying. But that's the thing. They're saying that
it wasn't attractive enough.
We're giving you the spot after Family Guy, so we already have all these viewers. You need to be good enough to keep half.
Okay.
It's probably and it's probably not what's happening. But I was hearing something that one comedian was saying that he feels like sitcoms are dead. That there'll never be like another like real sitcom where it's just like a single area film camera cuts. That's kind of like how like a couple of the older or younger comics have been trying to bring sitcoms back, and I feel like that's kind of why it keeps failing. It's like
me, him, and Gerard have both done it in both their shows.
Yeah, Skinny. That's a Skinny dude, right?
Yeah.
I actually liked his show. Yeah, I actually liked his show. I used to be cracking up looking at that shit. I'm not gonna count. Yeah, he was. I used to be cracking up looking at that shit though. It's on it might still be on Netflix, but that's where I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw I think it was a Hulu too. Well, I was watching
it. Was on
Netflix.
I was watching
it when it was on TV.
Yeah, they got picked up on Netflix, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, it's they were saying that sitcoms are dead, and that like you won't have a thing like Seinfeld or like Martin.
Yeah, like I don't really see anything like that truly coming back. Yeah, just because like life kind of like mainstream TV moved towards like real life. And a lot of like just people's drama and whatnot, sitcoms just don't. They don't draw the attention they used to. I guess people don't like. I guess like family life and all that whatnot isn't really. I can't even say that because like Black is just a show that keeps on and keeps going, and it's like about family life, but maybe it's because it's black issues and whatnot.
But it's not like really like a sitcom.
Yeah.
It's more like it's a drama.
But maybe he didn't. I don't know. Like by himself. I just got finished watching a Watch Mojo list where we're talking about movies, franchises that chose like different actors. So like Transporter chose the guy that played Ajax in Deadpool. Francis. When we kept calling the nigga Francis and he got really pissed off. The bad guy.
Yeah, okay.
So they tried to use him to play the new Transporter instead of Jason Statham, and it didn't. It failed. Or like
I was about to say because I saw like an ad with the new Transporter, and I was looking like
this ain't the fucking Transporter.
This nigga? I mean, and that's my nigga Jason Statham or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happened essentially. Like we know Real, but we don't know him. It's not like if Kevin Hart did have his own sitcom, or maybe not a sitcom, his own show. But did he have enough star power to carry his own show? I don't know if he's that fun. I've never seen him do stand up and stuff like that. That could have been a contributing factor too.
It could have been like it because like I said, his supporting cast would have been Sinbad and Jess Hilarious.
Yeah, right.
It was those two.
But then also maybe that scandal with Jess Hilarious had something to do with that, where she was she made some type of joke or actually afraid of. Well, she did a live video where there's these Sikh, that's what they're called, Sikh individuals who had head wraps on, and she was like, "Oh, I'm afraid," and doing all this like extra shit about them getting on the same flight as her. And then like people were saying that she was being prejudiced. And she was like, "No, they got kicked off the plane, see," and it was just like being super extra. So it turned into like a big thing of like her just like being that way. And then like she like kind of got on and apologized. So I'm like, well, maybe that, because that just like recently happened.
Right.
And before the real stuff, I was like, well, maybe that had something to do with it.
I literally just saw this today.
Yeah, and that happened maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, maybe a month at the most. So that might have had or played a part into it. Where like, y'all are messy. We're not gonna deal with that.
Just not today.
Yeah.
Like we are Fox. We are now owned by Disney. So Disney don't play that.
We have values.
They definitely are owned by Disney now.
All right, so
let's get into some news.
Got some crazy ass news. This shit's gonna be funny.
When we get to the point where we can have soundtracks when you come on, I hope it's like some old school shit like.
We gotta figure out. Well, if you don't get high, you should still come over and we should get in our creative bag and I'll get high.
Okay.
Yeah, and we should figure out like how to implement like a soundboard, like how they do with Joe Budden.
Okay.
Because he does like the gunshots and all that. And I'm like, well, how can we do that?
I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah. So
Pretty sure I can.
whenever you're down to, I mean, I ain't got no job.
I have so many sound effects on my laptop.
See, yeah, we could definitely see. We
I got like all types of gunshots.
Yeah, maybe it's like an aux cord and we connect it. Oh yeah, we definitely got to cover and
yeah, when the news come on.
Logical Howard the news.
Damn, son, where'd you get that?
Damn, son, where'd you find it?
All right.
Yeah, all of that.
That part.
I want that.
Okay, so
planning.
I have two things I'm going to talk about. There's a maybe. I don't think anyone really cares about this. So
you said maybe.
Yeah, it's a maybe. So the first thing, right? The Notre Dame Cathedral in France burned down for the most part. And like they said, there's no reports of like terrorist acts or arson or anything like that. They said it was possibly an accident because there were workers in there like trying to remove statues because it was too much weight on the support beams because the majority of that shit's just held up by wooden support beams at this point. which is why when the fire broke out, that shit just fell apart.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened. Like,
I'm just thinking, like, because Moore is built like cathedrals all over the world. It's just like,
and I'm just sitting there,
architecture
like,
held
the
up.
first time I saw it, I'm sitting there just watching the shit on TV, and it's just burning. And all I see is like this white mist. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh shit, that's water. It was like, cause they're like, cause the cathedral's cause like the cathedral's so damn big, and they're like from the ground shooting up, and it's like the water don't even look like the water going in there for real. It look like it's just getting up there and just blowing away in the wind. I'm like, I don't think like it's real. Like, they're talking about doing airdrops, and then they decided they couldn't do airdrops because the water was too damn heavy. What? And dropping the water on the cathedral would just make more shit collapse.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
So they couldn't do that. So
crazy.
They just had to deal with this raging fire the best way they could by just like, spraying it and trying to calm the shit down. It eventually stopped. The whole ceiling is gone. I mean, most of the structure is still there that wasn't supported by the wood because, most of the structure is like stone. And yeah, so Sorry, Paris or France. Y'all just be losing stuff, man.
The rich people raised like $6 million so far.
How the fuck you supposed to be able to Notre Dame, dude? How do we sit there look like?
They about to try. Like, they raising money for it. Like she said, they raising money. People putting money in.
That's so crazy, though, because we really got people out here that's like...
And then, hold on. Here's the story linked to this, right? You know what this has to do with us.
What?
We're like, hey, we got y'all. We gonna help. And first thing that happened is people was like, oh, so y'all gonna go help France? What about Michigan?
You got niggas out here fucked up. You got Puerto Rico, who still is an extension of us. Like, what the hell?
Like, they've been talking about this shit for 3 years. Ain't nobody went up there and helped them yet.
Ain't nobody threw a tic-tac at these motherfuckers.
Not just Flint. What about Puerto Rico? Y'all's like, fuck them. But y'all about to go all the way across the ocean and go help France. And I'm like, well,
we just suck. It's okay. We know.
I'm sorry.
We know we do.
I don't know what to tell y'all.
Damn.
All right. So my maybe is like country news.
Mm-hmm.
So the Muller report got released.
What?
Do y'all care about that?
The Mother report.
Muller.
Oh, the Mother report.
Muller.
I thought it was a Mother report.
I
would like to contribute.
That's what I said.
I was thinking like, what is that? But
because I'm like,
it got re-released.
Like skim over, but I didn't get into it.
Yeah, man, I ain't read the whole damn thing. That was a lot. But I read a good portion of it.
Okay.
It's essentially, they had a court order for them to release the documents from the report. The reports were released, and basically it went into detail talking about how Trump during the beginning of his campaign or during his campaign and after he was in office was essentially like it's not during his campaign. It was when he was in office and the report was going on and he was basically trying to get Muller fired or was trying to get anyone that he possibly could to push him out. Like, he went to Jeff Sessions when he was relevant. I don't even think he's doing anything now. And there was the general attorney also. And like he went to both of them, tried to get Mueller pushed out because when Mueller started diving into his things and whatnot, he got into Don Jr. and his situation with Russia and talking about how Trump was using Hillary as a basically deflection during the campaign to not have anyone pay attention to what he's doing and like the emails and everything, just be like ooh, look that way. Don't look at me type shit. And that's what all that whatnot was about. But yeah, it came out, like I said, it was really, really long. And it got into real detail about this whole situation. And once again, the country's calling for another impeach.
Of course.
So, for what?
Because technically all this puts him into.
You looking for your phone?
Yes.
Collusion.
He doesn't have his device.
Not collusion. It's another C word. I can't think of what it is.
But I thought when they released it the first time they didn't find anything. So, what's the point of releasing it the second time to find what?
It's not that they didn't find anything the first time.
It was stuff, certain things.
It's a redacted. What was released the first time was what someone decided that we should know.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, wasn't some of it like...
Yeah, it was a redacted release. And so basically somebody else went through it, read it all, and was like, y'all can have these parts. And then Congress was like, how about you give it all to us?
To the public or to the people who actually...
No, everybody.
Yeah.
Only got the redacted part.
Everybody involved in the case only got the redacted part.
Except because Muller has to submit the case to this other dude whose name escapes me right now. So he submitted to him.
Right.
And so that dude reads it and then decides what part to go to Congress and what's important. So he read it and decided that what Congress shared with us was the only things that were important. Congress was like, how about you give us the whole report? And so that's what the second, reveal and why. So
they gave him the full report now.
Yeah, and that's why it's more important.
Okay. Yeah, and then did they find anything so far in that big ass document that says, "Oh, you are guilty of something yet"?
Yes, if I could just remember the word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your phone is dead. It's going straight to voicemail, bro. I tried to call it.
Zanyo?
I don't know where it is.
And somebody's wallet is on the floor, too.
So while he's looking for that, how do y'all feel about this? Opinions, thoughts?
Ooh, it's 33 pages. All right, yeah.
The report.
Or what do y'all know about it?
This?
Yeah.
I know.
I've not been looking into it that much.
Yeah, I just know the first time they didn't find anything, and now the second time was what I'm really confused about. But then you just explained it, so
that's pretty much what I know. And that Trump is saying that he's fucked.
Okay, it was in the 448-page report sent to Congress Thursday. The former FBI director detailed dozens of instances in which Russian operatives interacted with Trump associates, although he ultimately found no evidence that the campaign worked with Russia in the end. Although Russia perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and the campaign expected it would benefit electorally from Russia hacking efforts. The investigation did not establish that the members of the Trump campaign considered or coordinated with the Russian government in election interference, the report said.
Basically what it say is Trump's people work with Russia. Trump's people also knew that if Russia hacked this, it'd be good for them. And Russia knew that if Trump became president, it'd be good for them. So they kind of both just was like, we gonna do our thing, you do your thing, and we gonna
rock how
things
we rock.
Just go.
We just gonna keep the little.
Like that shit happens.
Yeah, that's a little.
Like, oops.
That's one of those little shaky agreements you make with, one of those you hit. I'm gonna do this, you gonna do that. We gonna make this work. That's a nigga move.
Straight.
They hit a whole nigga move on there. It's like. But the one thing that they did say is the reason that Trump isn't being legally charged with anything right now is because there's a statute or some type of, I wouldn't necessarily call it a law because you can charge the president, but you shouldn't and you're not supposed to. And Muller is the type of person that he's gonna follow the statutes and the orders and everything like that to the letter. So he's not bringing charges against Trump because Trump's our sitting president.
Fuck that nigga.
Yes. Completely.
Sorry, reaction.
Completely. I completely agree. But that's the reason that he's you don't bring charges against the acting and sitting president. And so, it's against, policy. I guess policy is a better word than a law. But I think that's still some nonsense, because I'm sure that if it was a Republican doing an investigation, they would have no problem like stringing a Democrat or any other like sitting house, or if there was some like somehow the Green Party got in, I'm sure that the Republicans wouldn't care about stringing them up.
Right.
They'd be like, nah, we're gonna charge you too.
You gonna get
Still fucked up.
You fucked up, so come on, get this law.
Gotta hold you accountable.
Yep.
Like we would do any citizen.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a whole thing, but I don't know. I guess I don't really care, if I'm gonna be honest. And I guess the reason that I don't really care is because I feel like the Democrats are weak and they're not going to do anything about it. So,
I feel like even with all this stuff, I feel like they just expose what they've been doing for years upon years upon years upon years upon years. No matter who's in office, Republican, Democrat, Communist, then
I think that
just expose,
there's
like,
always been a level of corruption.
Yep.
And I think that their issue is not with the corruption. And I feel like if Trump had done it just the corrupt way, they'd have probably been cool with it. But it's the corruption combined with your interaction with Russia, who is, while we're all on friendly terms as a world right now, that's on paper. But for real, we don't really fuck with Russia.
Yeah, nigga, that's a no-no.
At all. And so, since you fucked with... it's like Russia and China, we don't fuck with them. And it's mostly because those are the only two countries, or continents really, that are like equally positioned to like be a superpower and a world leader. And like be the number one in the globe's eyes, in a global sense.
I'd be afraid to have Russian superpowers. You ever seen their ghettos?
But so that's their issue. They're like,
it's rough.
That's
yes.
You could have cheated with whoever in the country and finesse, but you can't finesse with like the foreign enemy.
Russia.
Like you got to finesse with inside the country.
Russia.
It's like, yeah, that's like
Russia.
Like I can understand, like if I'm running the block and some niggas that live in the hood, they set up a play, they set me up, boom, they rob me. All right, I got it. But if some niggas that's also trying to take over the block call the cops on me, what? What do you? What part of the game is this?
When it gets the cops,
you called the cops on me, so y'all can stand on my. What?
You up?
That's crazy. So yeah, I feel like it's like that. They're like, you could have did some scandalous shit and we'd have been fine, but you did some scandalous shit with the boys, and we don't fuck with that. And we need to know exactly what's going on with that. Is you a rat?
I wonder sometimes, I had played with this thought. I said, what if Trump has to be non-corrupt? Like, what if he really has to play by the book? Because everything he does is under such scrutiny. I thought about, like, as a theory, like, what if this nigga actually really is just a great, fantastic guy? Like, he has no choice, because, like, anything that he does would be under the microscope.
I mean, but I guess you can have everything under the microscope and still be a shitbag. And so his personality is shitbag. Yeah, outside of policy.
Sometimes I'll just be like, shh. All you gotta do is be quiet and he'll get his point across. I swear on everything. If he just be like,
but he don't know how to shut up, and that's the problem. It's like
I think it'll play out the way he needs it to play out.
He's like a 3-year-old. It's a petulant child where it's like, I have my point of view, and I'm old enough now to tell you what my point of view is, and I feel like I have the power to like make you listen. I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna have a tantrum, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to get your attention so that you understand my point of view. He just so happens to also have the power to like make it a reality, because he was doing the same shit when Obama was office. He was screaming about him being not a citizen and not from Hawaii, and like just all this other just like random shit, but no one paid him no attention because you ain't got no power. Only thing different is you actually like affect people's lives on like a real basis, and so
people have to pay attention to you.
Yeah,
like right now,
you lead the free world. Like people
like,
have to pay attention to you.
He's getting rid of Obamacare, like completely. I think like
that was a shitty ass plan. I'm sorry, there's nothing that I would want to keep about that at all. It just wasn't.
Why?
Why would a mandate to pay for not having health care what world is that okay in a society?
But that's not nothing. You just don't like the penalty for not having insurance.
Yeah, but why would you enforce that?
But
people?
Obamacare isn't just a penalty for not having insurance. It's also universal health care for people who can't afford it. So
where did that show up for? Besides having Medicaid, I never benefited from.
Did you ever apply?
Applied many a times. When I didn't have a job, I've applied for Medicaid plenty of times.
Not Medicaid, but for Obamacare, it's different.
Yeah, it was shitty. It was super dumb expensive for no fucking reason.
I know lots of people who had it and it's completely free for them.
Well, good for him.
So I'm just saying, like, I understand, like, the yearly expense is probably not a good thing. Like, I don't really have to deal with that, so it's never bothered me because regardless if I have a job or not, I have health insurance since I'm a veteran. But I do understand that it's shitty that, hey, if you've come on hard times, you didn't have a job, and now at the end of the year you're also getting hit with another like bill, that don't make no sense. So I can agree with you on that sense. So you probably shouldn't have that. I also understand that they're probably like, well, how do we also pay for health care for everybody? We probably should penalize the people who are filing taxes and should have been able to like afford health care but didn't have it. I understand that you shouldn't do it, and I agree that's probably the wrong way to go about it. Mm-hmm. But I understand both sides of the coin. They're like, how do we fund it? Not the right way to do it, but I understand why you did it, is what I'm saying, I guess.
But nobody really, I don't understand. When did we have, from what you just said, when did we have universal health care? From when I could apply for Obamacare and have it for free. Mm-hmm. Where did that happen for anybody? I want to know who had free, besides having Medicaid or Medicare. That's the only thing that's ever been brought to my attention, that you don't have to pay for if you under a time where you cannot pay for general health care.
I mean, I could have my mother tell you about the programs and everything. Like, they're probably going away, but that's what she used to do, is like get people free medical and health care and things like that, because she's a social worker, so she knows the programs and the systems. That's the only reason that I know about all of them. Like, if I ever needed healthcare and things like that, I could always go out and get it. I've just, like I said, never needed it, so I never utilized it. But that's how I know people who've used it, and it's been free for them, and they haven't had to have a cost, and it's been better than them having to figure out, how am I going to pay for this bill, or I can't even go get a prescription for medication because I can't afford to go get seen by the doctor. So I understand what you're saying, where, yeah, you probably shouldn't charge people at the end of the year. That's trash. But I also think that it's going to put a lot of people who couldn't afford health care back in a situation where they don't have health care, and you stop going to the hospital again. And that's just going to lead to people being sick and more death and loss of life in less affluent communities. I ain't got quiet.
Oh my God.
Has everyone gotten their opinions and feelings out about this?
I didn't have an opinion. I didn't. So I just stayed quiet. Like,
I got crazy news too. So
yeah,
I found this real interesting.
That's crazy news.
Yeah, crazy news. All right, so scientists up to some crazy shit again.
That fuck shit.
Up to crazy shit.
I feel like you. There you go. I feel like you could just grab it and investigate. I didn't know if anything was in there.
That's crazy. Ash sent me to go get it. So I asked Ash if there was more Pringles, and you know what she told me to do? She said, "Yeah, grab the can."
No, wait. And I said, "Yeah." When you grab the can, I'm like, "Yeah, that's the action you need to take to fulfill your need for that, to answer that question."
So Ash told me to grab an empty ass can of no Pringles.
I didn't know.
Of broken dreams and promises.
We had to.
This is a can of sadness.
No,
and we didn't have to. I could have got another can, but Ash didn't want me to because she was being stank.
We had to split.
Ash didn't want you. No, I offered. That's a lie. That is a lie. Ash is being stank and a liar. Ash is a stank lie.
We had to split this tiny ass thing. A ration apocalypse can of Pringles.
Oh my God.
And I didn't know
that is not
if there's
what
any
happened.
Pringles left in the can. So it was really up in the air.
So what happened is
other two people munching on the Pringles.
So what happened is
these are facts.
Alicia told us we could get some snacks. I went in there and helped her get the snacks. True. Then we go in the car and I'm like, Ash, I'm gonna eat the Pringles with you. So it's only gonna be 2 heads on the can of Pringles. Then Ash tell me that Jones is also So that he's gonna eat some of the Pringles. And then Tony says, shit, we should grab another can of Pringles. And is headed to go get another can of Pringles. And what the fuck does everybody else tell me? Oh, no, it's not even that fucking serious. So don't fucking tell me about no rationing, no motherfucking apocalypse can of Pringles when y'all said it wasn't that serious.
Definitely was like, are you sure?
My
foot is on the gas.
No, but the two people.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. And I'm like,
hey, no.
Maybe
the two people that were,
no,
that's not what happened. She's a liar right there, too. What happened is, she said, no, you don't have to worry about it. Ashley told me not to worry about it, too. She said, we'll be fine. Yeah, and so I figured that the three people, since those were the other two people eating it, not Alicia, I don't give a fuck what she's talking about. If the other two people that are actually eating this shit are like, yeah, it'll be cool. So if it was cool, you can't call it apocalypse. It can't be both.
It definitely turned into an apocalypse after you start looking for more. I was fine. I was like, you know what? I'm only going to get a little bit of Pringles out of here. That's fine. As long as the homies can get some Pringles. I'm cool with the little stack that I had. Great. After that, I didn't give a fuck no more. Now it's rational.
I actually ate all the Pringles.
Oh, that was a conclusion.
And gave me crumbs. And he gave me a crummy box.
All right, so
Ash got a crummy box.
You know,
that's what the conclusion of this is.
A box. Never mind, I can't say that on air.
Speaking of apocalypse.
Yeah, Yale's trying to bring about the apocalypse.
All right.
Who? You said Yale is trying to bring.
Really
wait a minute, intentionally?
I mean, no, scientists don't ever do anything intentionally.
Just accidentally. It's always, man.
Because that's what they be doing. Like, they be making stuff, and they be creating things, and they be coming up, and
then somebody spilled a beaker.
And then somebody be like, hey, let me get that right there. And they go do some shit with it. That's how it always happens.
Somebody nudged the beaker. Oh, what did you do, Bob? I knew experiments.
And look, next thing you know,
my arm.
All right, but no. So this is what y'all out here doing, right?
Man, we about to be.
Where do I start? Okay, so the circulation and cellular activity were restored in a pig's brain 4 hours after its death.
Wait a minute,
fuck yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah,
hold up,
hell yeah,
wait, let me finish.
Hell yeah, fuck that, I don't care, zombie or not, hell yeah.
A finding that challenges long-held assumptions about the timing and irreversible nature of the secession of some of the brain's functions after death. Yale scientists report April 17th.
Hell yeah.
Nature.
On my fucking birthday? On my birthday they figured it out?
So yes. Did it move that's a universe activity?
Right. No, fuck that. That's a universe.
Wait. Your birthday was yesterday?
Yes.
They had wait. Didn't somebody wish him a happy birthday?
A whole ass happy birthday. No, wait, no, I
sent that privately. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did I not see
No, I didn't send it in the group. I sent it to him directly.
Mine separately, and she sent it separately.
I didn't know your birthday was yesterday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
This one comes from the heart.
But yeah, no, that is amazing. They figured out that basically they can extend life.
Home Depot. What the fuck?
That's not what that means. What that means is they are closer to figuring out immortality. And the fact that it happened on my birthday is the universe giving me a sign that, bruh.
You're right, because you did say that you wanted.
What would you want to be immortal for? I never asked you that question, but like, why?
Why not?
Tell me, why would you want to?
Because I want to see I would just want to see shit. I'm very interested in just like the happenings of everything. And if I have the time to start to figure shit out, then I'm going to. I'm just going to just like get into shit. Just like,
man, I can't
I would love to see. Okay.
And I don't know suicidal shit like fuck life. Like I'm really excited. Like I think I've mostly, if I haven't conquered my fear of death, I'm definitely on the path where I'm just like death doesn't sound like a bad idea anymore. Like I'm not scared of talking about it or anything like that. I'm really not afraid of dying anymore. So like I just can't wait to see like what the fuck is on the other side.
I guess it's not that I'm afraid of death so much as I really enjoy this existence.
Really, like you enjoy this shit? Damn, dude, like enjoy like thoroughly, like you enjoy like taking a dump.
People make life way more complicated and make it feel a lot more depressing and hard and than it needs to be. But that also is part of my personality. Like me and my family were talking about it the other day. I just don't be giving a fuck about 99% of anything. Like my just natural persona is like, it's whatever. So life has never really been like a real. Right. It's not that it hasn't been hard. It's never been like a real downer. There have been points where I've been depressed about shit, or where I've been like, all right, this is a terrible situation. I got to figure out how to make something shake. And like, but that's never really made me like not want life. And so since inside of this, I found like I enjoy learning new things. Like I really like to be in like settings of like intellectual learning. I don't like the monotony of doing the same task over and over again, but learning how to do that task, I'm all about that. Mastering that, I'm with that. That was a problem with my last job. Like it wasn't the learning how to do the skills, but once I mastered them, it was the same shit over and over. And once it's the same thing, I get bored. I get lost in that. That's why I like doing podcasts and writing stories and shit like that. It's always creative. We have a different conversation every time we come in here. And that's interesting to me. So if I could continue that and continue new experiences, why not? It's not like I know what I'm missing. It's like if you're a virgin, you don't know that you're missing sex. So I don't know what I'm missing in death. So I'm not necessarily, I mean, but I don't know like, oh, there's another side and this shit over here is lit too. Like when you pass, you're like an energy and you just a whole different plane. Like, yeah, that could be cool as shit. But like, I'm not really like yearning for that because like I've never had that. So like I said, you can't really miss what you haven't had.
Right. And
so I also feel like I fully realized like my own personal energy. Not to say that. I do feel like if I died, that my energy would move somewhere else and it would still be the same energy, just in a different plane of existence.
Right.
And I'm completely fine with that. But I'm also completely comfortable with my energy where it's at. Like, I don't think that my energy would change. I just think the medium in which it's expressed would. Mm-hmm. And so since my energy would be my energy, whether it's here or somewhere else, it's cool. And I like this, so I'm gonna kick it here and see what's up. Yeah. Shit, let me see if there's like aliens for real. Or let me get to another planet, or let me see what's in the ocean for real. Because we don't even really know shit about that. Like, we don't know a lot about our own planet. And we trying to go other places. I'm like, fuck, y'all get out of here and I'll explore. I'll be on this bitch by myself, figuring it out.
That's cool.
Having a dope ass time.
I'll go to Mars.
Yeah.
I'll go to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. And see what's down here. And shit, maybe I'll get eaten. And then I'll pass on. But fuck, it'd be like on some like crazy, like, I have all the time in the world.
No, I definitely had to conquer that disdain for life thing. Like, ugh, it's so hard being alive. And once I got over that, then things became easier for me mentally. So I definitely understand like the shedding of like, oh, but if I had to fucking choose for like stuffing my fucking face with food and then shitting, I'm choosing death. I don't want like using the bathroom is annoying as fuck.
Why do you see? But things like that don't even register to me.
No, but just like that small, not even gonna say like that's a regular. Just because you have to shove the one small, you gotta just
doesn't. But see, eat. I don't.
Or like you gotta put on clothes every fucking day. Like you gotta.
I wish we didn't have.
You gotta figure out how you gotta
I
make money.
I wish we lived more natural. Like,
I guess I like all that.
Society, I don't really give a fuck about.
Well, for me,
money.
Life is like a game.
I do,
and so the rules of this game in our society right now and the way they're set up is, if you have money, you can kind of break the rules and do what you want. The name of the game is make as much money so that way you're comfortable in the life that you live, and you can do the things that you want to do, and define your success, your own success. Now, most people fail in that because they let other people define what success looks like for them, and then they just chasing money because they figure like, all right, well, if I get enough money, I'll have the things that they have. When it's not the things that they have that you really want, it's the happiness, and the happiness is something that you got to figure out what makes you happy.
Right,
and most people, and most people don't know that, so life is shitty and hard for them. So I get why most people are like, yeah, life is trash, but because we generally don't have enough time to figure out what we want. I kind of have been afforded a lot of space in certain instances. Like, before I started college, I probably spent the first 30 to 45 days just like completely alone in a new city where I didn't know anybody. So my only outside contact with like an actual person was me calling the weed man, because they had a weed delivery man that would come and bring me like the most amazing strains of Kush. I've had some raspberry Kush that tastes like Kush, some like citrus. It was every amazing flavor of Kush I could have wanted. This nigga had. White boy. It was great. And so, and I just got high and I kind of went crazy and got into like what I really wanted and what really like interests me. And not, because at one point I was just going to go to college, get a degree, buy 2 houses out here, rent them bitches out, and then go live abroad for like the next 6 months to a year and do nothing, because I don't have to work. I don't have to pay for shit. So I'd just be like, fuck it. I'll be out here doing nothing with my life and just traveling. I was like, that's a grave waste of time. That sounds cool. That would be fun as fuck. But realistically, at the end of that year, what are you going to have accomplished outside of that experience? Mm-hmm. And when it was nothing, it was like, well, what do you really want to have accomplished? And then I started to like really like sit down and like catalog the things that I wanted, like what was important to me. I want to be able to affect my environment and the environment of those around me that I care about in a positive manner. And the way to do that in society is to have enough money to not only change my life, but the people's lives around me.
Right.
So that became my mission. And it was, how do I do that inside of the things that make me the most comfortable, and not even necessarily the most comfortable, the things that I feel like are my best gifts and my biggest talents. And so that's my creativity, my business mind, and my intellect. And so that's what I decided to go on. But I don't think everybody has like that space to actually figure it out. Sometimes life hits you and you don't have time to figure out who you are. You got to figure out, all right, how am I eating tomorrow? How are my kids eating tomorrow? How is my whole little family eating? Or where's our roof coming from? Shit like that. So I get why people are like, no, life is trash. Because it can be.
Right. They had there's a saying called "There's nothing new under the sun." Right? Dang. So if you down here for an infinite amount of time, like, would you say that you would run out of ideas? Or essentially, there's nothing really new. You're just recycling. Like, all right, there's a theory, like, at one point we didn't really need cell phones because we could just communicate with each other telepathically. Mm-hmm. So what, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to go back to speaking, just like ideas like that? Like, well, what would be new? Like,
I mean, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that there's anything new under the sun, but I think that is referring to your interactions with people. Mm-hmm. And I'm not so interested in interacting with people. Mm-hmm. Because in that respect, and yeah, people are really boring and pretty easy to predict and like figure out their motivations and which direction they're going to move and why. If you just like sit back and pay attention. Most people don't pay attention, and that's why they're like, oh, I can't believe this person's like that. Right. No, they showed you a lot of signs. You was just invested in your idea of who they were, mm-hmm. and that's what was more important to you. But so people are boring to me. Mm-hmm. So nothing's new under the sun with people, so I wouldn't even like look to like, oh, what's the new thing with people? I don't care about that. Like, it's always gonna be something new with y'all, some new fad or some new tradition or whatever. But like, I would like to see like maybe our advances in technology, our advances in just like life. What is AI? How is AI really gonna like change life when it's fully integrated? And like walking into like opening the front door, or in voice recognition to like talking to your Siri unlock the door, and or Siri make coffee, shit like that. Mm. And or if we get off and actually find another planet, or aliens come, or there's some catastrophe that's gonna happen, and we're gonna be moved into a black hole, and or our star starts to go out, and we got to figure that shit out. It's just there's so much that could happen in our world that's not necessarily tied to me interacting with other people, mm-hmm. that I'm interested in seeing. Like, I don't care about interacting with other people. That's gonna be what it is, and that's gonna bore me after a while, regardless of who you are.
You can see this thing now with a button. Boring.
And it's not even like not even in a sense to like next. You gotta go, but it's just like
you just can't be here.
I mean, no, you can stay. It's just I understand what your mode of operation is, and as long as I'm cool with that, we can kick it. We can still have fun. But you're not interesting to me because I understand you. Okay. Understanding doesn't mean you gotta go. It just means that you also aren't the thing that I'm solely focused on. And since I understand people fairly quickly, you gotta catch me kind of while like I'm paying a lot of attention to you and pay a lot of attention, because that's probably when I'm the most open, because I'm studying you, and that's really what I study people like they're a book, and then once I'm done studying, I'm done because I figured you out. And people are like, oh, you don't say anything, you're not observant. I'm super observant. I just don't speak on shit that I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm going through that at work. Leave me the fuck alone. I just want to sit here and look at niggas. Oh, you're so chill. Why are you so calm? You have no sense of urgency. I'm just fucking paying attention.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, I don't want to talk to y'all niggas.
What does that mean?
She was like, I can't believe that you just have no sense. Like, I'm really just observing my surroundings right now. I'm trying to get to know niggas.
So I can know how I can move.
Yeah, you know, in my own little way. Like, I'm just chilling. I really don't want to talk to niggas and shit like that.
Yeah, it's like I don't need to like necessarily like engage with you to see who you are. Yeah. Like, it is the quickest way, and that's probably like my favorite way. If I could spend like 48 hours with a person, especially like if they're like of the opposite sex, I'm interested in them. I try to spend as much time with them within like first getting to know them, because in that time I'm like really like paying attention to who you are, things you tell me, things you'll say you like, you dislike, because I'm taking those forward in how I operate with you, how our interactions go moving forward. Like, I use all that information that you gave me to build how me and you interact. And so once I've built a way that we interact, we communicate and things like that, and it seems like it's working, I understand this. And so there might be misunderstandings here and there, and that's usually not on a logical basis. That's usually on like how people feel, and you can't really predict how people are going to feel on like a precise sense. You can get, they'll probably be upset about this, but that upset, how it's going to manifest itself is some silence or anger this day or argument or some bullshit.
Right.
That's just going to be what it is. But even that still is like predictable, because I'm just like, oh, it's going to be like a number of one of these things, and I'm going to move forward from that. So all like, it's just boring. Like, it is what it is. So like, but I want to see if we live on a space station, and what's that like? I want to go in space and feel zero gravity.
I feel you. So it's more like the curiosity thing. I just love being curious.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you? What did you think about?
Zombie pig.
Yeah. What did you think about the zombie pig?
I mean, I never finished your story.
Oh,
that was like off into a whole tangent.
Oh, what happened?
It was a good tangent though. Very interesting.
Go ahead. My bad.
Sorry.
We actually having a conversation about
I thought
life.
that was it. He just was like,
yeah, zombie pig.
And I was like, oh, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
okay.
Big conversation, and you were like, I never knew why you wanted to be immortal, and that's
You can just be like, hey, bitch, stop. You could throw something at me. If you
could throw something at me?
Because that was really rude, and I'm not trying to be rude towards you, Marcus. I really do apologize.
So, basically, the brain itself it's like there's no electrical activity. It's cellularly. I said that. That is crazy.
Cellularly
active.
So cells are regenerating.
Basically, it's stopping the brain from degenerating.
Oh, so they're preserving it. They're holding shit down. So if they can figure out something to like
clinically defined, it's not a living brain. It's not alive because it doesn't have electroactivity.
It's just preserved.
Like strawberries. It's essentially preserving it because like right after the brain dies, it's cut off from oxygen and blood. Its electricity, awareness, and everything disappear, and it pretty much starts to the body releases cells that start to degenerate and
basically tear it down. The way they do it is they inject a serum that they call Brain X, and basically, when integrated, it preserves the certain neural, glial, and vascular cell functionality. Which basically, like I said, it stops the brain from degenerating itself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one more part that was really interesting, talking about not trying to cross ethical boundaries and whatnot.
They already crossed them, probably. It's probably a whole bunch of cloney pigs running around here.
Eating rabbits.
Ethical, they funny.
Okay, basically what they were saying is, restoration of consciousness was never their goal of the research. That's not what they were trying to do. So.
Somebody hit the beaker over the brain's head. Oh, goddamn, Johnson.
Just in case, the researchers were prepared to intervene with use of anesthetics and temperature reduction and stop the organized global electricity activity if it were to emerge.
Yeah, okay. That don't sound like a shotgun to me. That sound like some. That sound like, calm it down. Calm it down. Lock it up.
What this does for science is it basically allows scientists to study the brain in its natural habitat, in a sense. Because, only way we can look at the brain.
Why would they kill it? Why would they kill it if it started having activity? That's fucked up.
I mean, technically.
Because it's a walking.
Well, no, it's that's what they were talking about, crossing ethical boundaries and things like that. And,
no harm to the pig and stuff like that.
The pig's already dead. They got it from a.
Yeah, but if the pig is dead already, you didn't cross an ethical boundary because this wasn't what you were trying to do. But since it unintendedly happened, you shouldn't then snuff out this new life that you've created. That is also unethical. How you just killing life?
Oh, Lord.
He's like, I would love to be the first human test subject, please. No, there's a movie called Replicas with Keanu Reeves where he takes the consciousness of like a dead soldier and they finally figure out how to put it in a robot. So they successfully put his consciousness in a robot, but then the robot start like freaking out, of course. What the fuck is going on? I'm not a robot. And they had to shut it down. And then, damn, do I tell y'all this part? Or no? If I want to see it, do y'all care or no?
What's it called?
Replicas.
Is it old?
It's shitty.
But I'll still watch it though. If you say it.
Well, if y'all.
Did you say it was shitty?
Yeah, it was
She
bad.
did.
Keanu Reeves is funny as fuck. Because like when Keanu Reeves act and they get to trying to get him to do anything but other be stoic and calm, it's horrible. This nigga gotta be emotional. Like he had to say, it's just funny as shit. Like, Keanu, no, boo. You already know your range, and it's right here. It's not up here, and it's not down here. It's right here. You need to stop.
You got the emotional range.
But essentially, if they restore the global electrical network situation, that would bring the brain back to life, which would restore consciousness, awareness, and all that whatnot.
So, what do you think about consciousness? You think it's located in your brain?
It's hard to say. I don't know. Because the way our brain is wired and whatnot, we're literally just walking water and electricity.
Right.
So it's like your consciousness dies with your brain, and probably.
You think so?
I
don't think so.
Connection to the soul.
I think our consciousness.
What do you define
the universe? I should say.
I would say if I had to, in my limited understanding, I would say it's your spirit. And if you
if I look at it that way, then no.
Yeah, it can't die because no one can find the mind inside your brain. Like, where does your mind exist inside your brain? They can't find it. So that means it's independent of everything else that we're doing. So it has to exist somewhere that they either don't want to explain to the masses or they just honestly don't know. So even
I feel like they told us, but without telling us. Because they always tell you that your brain is like a supercomputer. Any computer that you've ever known, somebody got to press the power button and do all that shit, right? Who's controlling our supercomputer? I assume that to be my consciousness. It makes the shit work. Because what it sounds like it's death is your body's battery dies and you don't have an electrical current, and then your brain shuts down to stop receiving an electrical current and rejects it basically. And that's probably like an eject button for your body, for your consciousness.
You just gave me a crazy ass idea that goes along with that, right? So what I learned about this in reading, it's like, all right, so that's like an eject button, right? And then your brain doesn't self-destruct because it releases cells to destroy itself.
Yeah.
For why? like the body, because when you die, once your stomach acids everything get loose, all the bacteria and everything is what starts to deteriorate your body.
Right.
So brain's like, oh no, I'm just gonna fuck myself up. Gone.
I gotta find a new body.
And that's probably because it's our consciousness. It literally
happens like minutes afterwards.
It's probably our consciousness deciding, all right, I'm leaving, and that's probably how it's set up, where you don't get to know about what the brain really is and how it functions and what was controlling everything, because all y'all see is the computer that's left behind. So yeah, y'all got wreckage of a computer, but y'all don't see where the controls was at.
Got the equipment.
Yeah. And so, because I mean, they keep saying it's a computer. I've never seen a computer that just work by itself. That bitch needs somebody to be typing on it, moving a mouse, clicking some things, putting some information in. And so if my brain's a computer, something's got to be doing it. If I can think about my brain and I can think about moving, something else is like having those like interactions, I would assume. So yeah, that's just how I kind of view it. Is my consciousness is like what controls my brain.
Get real high this weekend and really research that and think about it a lot.
I feel like you might be calling somebody like, hello. Am I still here with you?
Too much. This is too much for me.
Tony, come over. Tony, come over.
Group. Y'all.
I
found it.
If I just get that word, y'all. I'm like, could you go over there and make sure she okay?
What was that fucking movie where they was putting the tape on all the windows?
Damn.
And what the fuck was that? It's
Bird
old
Box?
as fuck.
Oh no.
They was putting like red tape and like black tape and shit.
That sounds familiar.
I can't remember what it was. They was like going crazy. They didn't want to go outside and shit. But
I found
going crazy and shit.
Alright.
Yeah, no, I would definitely let you. I would come and find out.
I would be so excited though. I really would. Like I wouldn't be going crazy. I would just be excited.
Yeah, no, me too.
Because it's just like it would be such a high state of mind. Like to really actually know. That's like, yeah, it's just another level, shit of consciousness. Period.
I mean, that would also like explain things like, you want to get into these type of things. That would also explain people being able to have like out of body experiences, like astral projection and things in a sense, because it's just your consciousness leaving your body, essentially.
I've done it before, and this shit is fucking
weird.
weird.
When I was younger.
Yeah, I did it as a grown ass adult. I was like,
did it maybe like, probably like maybe like, I don't know. I was like older, like 18, 19. But like I was like for a moment, I was able to trigger it.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
I had to always just sleep on my back, like just straight up.
I mean, I can lucid dream.
Yeah, I've been getting pretty good at lucid dreaming.
Like,
yeah.
I only lucid dream if I have a dream I remember.
No,
Really?
it's dope. Huh?
I was saying that I only lucid dream now. If I have a dream I remember, it's fully be knowing like, oh, this is a dream, and I'm usually in pretty much control, and I'm usually deciding to end dreams.
Yeah.
The dreams I remember that I'm lucid dreaming usually be some bullshit. Somebody trying to get me, somebody on some fuck shit.
And that's the thing.
And I'd be like, you know what? I don't have time because
fuck this.
I'm done with the
dream over.
That's
I end the dream and I wake
Stop.
up. Fuck it. I'm done with this shit. Because I be trying in the beginning. I'm like, oh, this is dumb shit. You know, fuck this shit. I'm out.
That's my goal, is to control my nightmares. Because I do it constantly. Because The key to lucid dreaming is you're bringing your consciousness, you're becoming aware
of your subconscious in a way.
Right. And like, say if I'm walking through one of my dreams, like one of the dreams I had recently, it was like these zombies was like chasing me or some dumb shit. And like I found like a group of people and we end up finding like refuge in like a church kind of whatever deal. So it was like, all right, we just got finished running all day. We need to go lay down. So as I go into this room, I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm like, is this dirt or mold? And I remember thinking like, well, make it grow. If it's mold, don't mold grow. And so the splotches would get bigger. I'm like, no, you need to stop because I don't like mold. So it would stop. And I'm like, no, it's just dirt. So then it would transform back into these dark spots. And that's when I realized like, I'm controlling my dreams. And that's when I would usually wake up when I'm realizing I'm in control. Like I can hear myself saying something and it actually happened in the dream. Yeah. The point now is for me to not fucking wake up and then keep it going.
Yeah, so like he was saying, I end like nightmares. Except for there's been a couple of interesting ones.
Yeah.
Like they didn't seem like nightmares until the end.
Yeah, that's when I end them. A lot of mine are some bullshit. At the very end, I'm like, you know what?
Start off good.
This is trash. I'm out of here. Because normally I'd be like, oh, I'm dreaming. Let's see what this is. And it'd be like lots of like split scenes. And I'd be like shifted to different areas.
Yeah, I don't like when I have those.
And it's not like split scenes. It's like
you're trans. It's like it's weird because like you.
Because then I feel like I'm out of control. Just period. Like
that's actually you in control.
Yeah,
that's what happened to me.
It's me thinking, and we're doing something, and the dream starts off and we're in the road. But I'm like, shit, we need to be in the house, and
it morphs into it. That's you lucid dreaming.
And so I have full control. But then there'll be something in there that's chasing me and trying, and I don't know what that shit is.
You got
but it's in all of my things, and it's always trying to get. And I feel like it has an issue with me taking control in a lucid dream. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. And I wake up.
Not getting this shit today, nigga.
No, you got me fucked up. I've been kicked out of a plane before. That shit was terrifying. Whoa. That was before I knew how to lucid dream. They chased me all around like warehouse, and then took me into a plane, and then kicked me out the plane. No idea. After they injected me with some shit, and they kicked me out the plane, I have no idea what was going on. But I woke up midair. It's like, that was terrifying.
That's wild.
Crazy shit.
Yeah, no.
Like I said, like the interesting ones. It's like there was one. I was at this beach.
Interesting.
And
that's a good
long story short, like there was a tsunami, right? Now, at first I'm on the beach. And I'm like, you know, when a tsunami happens, water retreats. It pulls out. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh no. So I start getting the fuck up out the way. Everybody, you know, people were just doing, oh, look, we can see the seabed. You know, dumb shit. Of course, you know, like, but like, I don't like. I'm not telling anybody.
It's
anything.
bad.
I'm just leaving.
That's
right?
not good.
So as I'm getting like towards the inner parts of the city, right? This is a long time ago. This is like when like End of the World movies were coming out. And like I get into this bit, like I see the wave coming, right? And I'm like, oh shit, tall as fuck. You can't really gauge how big the wave is for real. It's just because it's like at a distance at this point. So I get up in this building, right? There's a lot of stuff I'm missing, but basically I get into this building. I get to the top of the building, right? The wave hits the building, and the building kind of like tilts a little bit, right? Breaks all the glass, everything's shattering, we're hanging. And I'm like holding on, right? And I'm just hanging, and there's another wave coming. And I just kind of look over at the wave, and I'm like, all right, wake up. Just wake up. Just wake up. I woke up on the floor.
Oh, so, fucking plot twist. I woke up on the floor, y'all.
Yeah, like.
Oh, no, you was in it for real.
Yeah, like, I was in there, bitch.
Arm on the bed and shit.
Looking up like.
Hanging and shit.
Ain't this about a bitch?
Yo, man.
Look at
no, because I was like,
just thinking about it.
All right, this is the part I intentionally left out because every time I think about it, I'm like, it's weird that he was in his dream. It was fucking Jamie Foxx, right? And he was hanging too, but like he was like way the fuck over there somewhere, and like when the wave hit,
Like, the wave never made it to me.
Okay.
I woke up. So
right.
I don't know what the fuck happened. I just know that second wave never made it there.
Yeah. No, see, I've never, woke up on the floor.
Me neither.
I have the dream. The dream starts getting a little But all my dreams are on some, wildly, crazy, this can't be reality shit.
That's what my last one was. I was like, what the fuck was this?
I had one years ago. And this is how you know that these are crazy dreams. I read this years later. I was in a high school, and it was these, cheerleaders, all blondes, and for some reason, what they did was throw up on people. Yep. That was they was like some demon type throwing up cheerleader chicks, and so they was just throwing up on people and attacking them. And they was trying to throw up on me. And so I ended up making it out to school because they on some stairs trying to throw up on me. I dip. I get out of there. I'm out to school. I'm hiding behind some bushes. Why these bitches come in this fucking pink Ferrari drop top?
What?
Yeah, it was like the fucking Barbie car. I swear to God, it was like a Barbie car in my dream. And it was just all these blonde cheerleaders throwing up everywhere, trying to get me. And I was like, fuck, I'm done with this. It's time to wake up.
Stop.
Yes, I would go. I was like, the end of the dream was me hiding behind the bush. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, this is a dream.
Wake the fuck up. What is this?
I'd also be like, I got to get out of here. And probably how I got outside was me thinking, I got to get out of here. And I left the building. Because that was before I really knew what lucid dreaming was. And I was like, I don't know how I got outside, but thank God. And then the bitches were still out there. And I was like, you know what? Every time I have a scary dream, something's chasing me. Fuck that shit. Time to get up. And maybe that means something, that something's always chasing me in my dreams.
I'm trying to think of the last time I had a dream where something was chasing me.
Yeah.
You remember that zombie story from high school?
Mm-hmm.
That started as a dream. The continuation of the story was me just coming off the rest of it at the top of my head.
Okay.
But the original, the beginning of the story up to about Seymour and the whole cafeteria scene, everything after that was me making up the rest of the story. But yeah, I kind of woke up right there because this security guard in our school was huge.
Thank you. Yeah, for explaining what the fuck. Remember high school and Seymour?
We both looking at both of them like
huge black dude, right? And in the dream, he was a zombie because everybody it was school officials and other people in the school were zombies, and it was me and all of my friends, and we were trying to make our way out of the school.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to that floor and he was second floor boss. Yeah, he big. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, the way we had to kill him was take his knees out and get the rest done.
And get the rest done.
And
Good for a block.
All right, we got him.
That's some straight game shit too.
Hey,
y'all have any crazy dreams?
I was just about to say one. Well, I was about to give advice about dreams. So your dreams is basically your subconscious mind speaking directly to you.
Yeah.
There's no ego in the way. There's no nothing. So when you having something to dream about, chasing is trying to tell you something. The whole point for me with my lucid dreams now, my ex was laying in my bed. I remember feeling super, I remember feeling super calm and he's hugging me and shit like that. That's just not cool in waking life anymore. Hugging and just yeah, girl, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And I'm going along with it. I'm slowly okay, maybe this isn't as bad, until I'm starting to actively realize, wait, this isn't supposed to be happening. It needs to stop. So I'm nervous. Does that mean I want to be with my ex? Because I don't want to be with him. It's over, I swear. So I start reading in my dream dictionary. It's no, what you're really trying to do is forgive him for what had went on in the past. So by me coming closer to him in the dream and accepting him and being softer with him, meaning I'm getting closer to my forgiveness for him. So if you study your dreams from that standpoint of, I need to face my fears of whatever's making me scared. And if you get to that point where all right, from people's chasing you, if you turn around and just try to face it, or at least every time you come across these things,
it's
instead
not
of
like a fear. It's like with the throw up chicks. I don't want to be thrown up on. I'm not afraid of y'all.
even if or if it makes you uncomfortable,
okay, yeah, that's
try being thrown up on and see what happens. You might feel better about something in your waking life. I don't know, but that's how dreams work. No, it don't. But in your dreams, I'm gonna let somebody else catch me. In your dreams, if you just let, you know what I'm saying, let them projectile vomit on you, you know what I'm saying, you might. You might, you know what I'm saying.
I'm definitely a trash star in my dreams. You are not catching this boy. I am out. You gotta be fucked up.
Fucking super speed.
Hey, and especially since I lucid dream and shit just be changing the way that I need to be changing. I'm always in the most, like, I'm always hopping out of a window, running into a room and slamming the door. I've crawled into a, like, little cupboard area and had to crawl out that bitch. I've always been in a position where the thing that's looking for me don't get me. And it's never like I don't see the thing. Mm-hmm. It's always something that I see. Like, it's not like, oh, it's an entity that I don't know. No, I see the nigga every time. It's always just, like, takes the form of whatever, like, fits that dream.
Right.
It's just something chasing me. No, I know why. And it's generally, like, I'm in a place that I don't necessarily have any business at. It's like, why am I here? How did I get here? And then this shit is chasing me. I was like, time to go. Like,
instead of running, you should just be like, what's up, thing?
I probably
give it a name. What's up, Bob? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there was Bob that one time.
You could try and then see what happens instead of just like continuously doing the same thing. Try something different.
Yeah, I never looked at it like an issue. Like, I'm sure it means something, but I wasn't too concerned about what it meant. It was like, it was
right. We write off dreams because no one really ever tells you the significance of your dreams.
Oh no, I think all dreams are like super important. I guess.
Yeah, but like when you in school and no one's, or like just our parents, no one's ever like,
life, no one tells
dreams are important. No. Pay attention.
And dreams usually kind of mean the opposite of what they're showing you. Or like a skewed version of what you're saying.
Yeah, they use symbols a lot. So like a tsunami means something totally fucking different.
Like, oh man.
But I also haven't dreamed lately because since I have the insomnia, sometimes I'll pop like a sleeping pill or like some ZQL.
That's another thing too. Everybody dreams all the time. You just got to get in the practice of remembering them.
I was about to say I could just never remember mine. Like I'll wake up and remember it, like, and then I'll be like, "Fuck, I forgot it." Like,
yeah, it's
the
a
skill. I don't really think I dream is because
especially
I don't also get a lot of sleep, so I don't know if I go into like a deep enough sleep to.
I would say no.
To dream. Because you have to hit like REM sleep to dream.
Sometimes because you smoke weed.
I was just about to say when I smoke weed, I don't think I hit the REM stage at all.
Smoking weed makes you skip that phase. Like I was about to say, I don't dream too much because I smoke to sleep. So like if I smoke before I go to sleep, I will not dream that night.
But when I wasn't smoking.
Oh yeah, like when it like I took it like I wasn't smoking for like 3 days. My shit was crazy. My dreams was out of here, and I'm like, oh no, give me the weed back.
When I was trying to get that job, that's why I was having some crazy dreams. Like I was just waking up telling my little girl, like, bruh, I just had a dream. Listen to this.
You're always dreaming. So what we do and why everybody like being either high or drunk, it shuts down your conscious mind. It tells your ego to sit down and shut the fuck up. So you need your conscious mind to remember your dreams. And what you're doing before you go to sleep is you're shutting that part of yourself down that needs to remember. You're always dreaming. I promise you. It's just a skill that you got to develop to remember them. That's why when you said, oh, I notice when I smoke weed, I don't remember my dreams. But I notice when I'm not high, they come back full force because you're shutting that part of yourself down that remembers that part. So y'all always dreaming. Y'all just having trouble remembering your dreams.
Science said we didn't dream when we were high. So it's not we don't dream. We just don't remember dreams when we're high.
They don't, like, they're not explaining the other part to you. Your conscious mind is being shut down. The part that tells you to be scared, the part that, like you said, when you're not, a lot of people say when they're not high, they think too much or whatever it is that's they don't want to happen in order to be high. That's your conscious mind running a fucking muck. That's why people choose to meditate. Y'all just choosing to be high. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is to shut it down, to quell your mind. Some people choose to meditate. Some people choose to walk, run, whatever. Y'all choose to be high. So that's your conscious mind running amok. That's what y'all trying to shut down. but your conscious mind is also responsible for memory. So when you go to sleep, you're dreaming. Just when you smoke before you go to sleep, you're shutting that part down that's supposed to remember. So you're shutting that part down. That's why it feels like you don't dream. You are dreaming. You just don't remember your dreams. Does that make sense?
Well, I completely understand what you're saying.
That's just further proof that your consciousness is controlling your brain. It's like your brain is like a recorder in that sense. And you chose to shut your recorder down, yet your consciousness is still doing this thing.
Right, your subconscious mind is still doing its thing by dreaming. It's still always going.
When I say about your conscious, I mean like your spiritual, like the thing that controls your mind is still doing its own thing and having the dream and experiencing all of that.
Right.
It's just not you. The brain isn't recording it. Like the machine isn't recording what's happening.
Right.
So there's no record of it, but it's still it. It's
still
happening. That's
happening.
probably why you still twitch and shit like that when you're sleeping and move around.
Or like you just generally wake up and you mad and you don't know. Think about it. Like if you just. Sometimes I'll just wake up in this shitty mood, like, what the fuck? Like, I'm mad, and I don't know why. Like, I'm not going to have a good day. Or something just might be off. Or maybe you might go through the day. Like, some days you might wake up like, damn, today's a fucking great day. Or some days you just don't wake up like.
I always try to hit my power stretch. As soon as I get up, I'm going to make this a great day. Shit, let me hit this stretch.
What?
Shit. So we've talked about dreams. Are we gonna move into at
We
least one of the
sure
questions?
are.
We've been here for an hour and a half. We don't necessarily got to get to all three of them, so we could.
All right then.
Because I was like, I know.
This is the relationship.
She getting sleepy.
Well, actually, we'll start with the one that's kind of could segue off of what we were just talking about. So,
dreams.
I want to talk about love.
Do you love me?
Love me. And I'm wondering if y'all think that is love just really reduced to a chemical reaction? Y'all think love is just a chemical reaction in your brain that's completely logical, it can be explained away, and that when you fall in love, you know what I'm saying, this person gave me a certain amount of oxytocin and that's why I'm here. Do y'all think love is just a chemical reaction? We're going to start with Marcus first because I feel like we always cutting this nigga off and I want him to speak first.
Speak, Marcus.
True. That's really interesting that you asked that question. Kind of has something to do with what I was thinking about, but that's not important.
What was you thinking about?
Yeah, Marcus, share.
Because I wasn't thinking of love as a chemical reaction. So it was like, if love is just a chemical reaction, what's more important, love or trust?
Ooh. I think that love is actually I think actually love is ultimate honesty, and you cannot have honesty for real without trust, right?
Right. I mean, I get what you're saying. Can't have love without trust.
So it's defined by yours is defined by it's a definition of love, basically.
So it's by your definition of love.
It's defined by your definition
or ultimate truth, anyway. Yeah.
But then you still have people that are in love.
Well, I think before we get philosophical, we should answer the original question.
Yeah.
Thank you. We was
definitely. You was looking at me like, "Are you sure about that?" I'm like, "I'm not sure about that."
Because I was interested in that. It's just like you think love is like ultimate truth, and it's not that like, "Are you sure?" It's just like I kind of want to get more into that, but I was like, we probably should answer also the question that Ash asked the first time.
So I guess you.
In my personal opinion, I feel like love is I do feel like it's a chemical thing. Why? I don't really know. To be honest, like I don't. That's just how I feel about it. Like it doesn't, because the feeling of love and being in love with somebody, I feel like it's a trigger thing. Because you can be friends with that person forever and not have a feeling of love for them, but still like, or not have that feeling of love for them, and be perfectly fine around them, cool, trust, and all that and whatnot. There's just that type of love, I guess. And I guess at that point, are we breaking down love into different categories, or we just love in general?
I was about to say, because what about love, like love for your family? It's different than love, relationship love. So,
even at that point, I feel like love for your family is triggered by connection and how close you are to them. Because I guess you would start with love for your family, but like events and whatnot could change that, and depending on your mindset, you could lose that love. So, yeah, I feel like it's more of a trigger thing to me. So, yeah, I feel like it's chemical though.
What about you, Lucia?
I gotta read the question again. I'm sorry.
I said, do you think love is just a chemical reaction? Why or why not?
I don't think it's just a chemical reaction. I also I don't know if there's a way to truly define exactly what it is, because I don't know. I can't explain it. Love is just like how like it's not like I'm just gonna love anybody. Just like if I get this chemical reaction, I'm in love with you now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You may make me feel a way, but that each person that makes you feel that same way or does the same thing that the next person does, if everybody did the same shit, made you feel the same way, doesn't mean that you would love each of them. Or even if you did, you're not gonna love them all the same. So I don't know if it's just a chemical reaction to me, but I don't know. I think it's just as questionable as like, or just as, I think it's almost linked to consciousness, like how you see people with like their soulmates and shit like that, and like twin flames and shit like that. Like I don't think that it's just a chemical reaction though, me personally. I don't have a way to explain it.
Nope, you go. I knew he was like, nah.
I think that it's fuck this little bitch. I think that it's like, I think love is based on time and perspective. If you go into the perspective when you meet that person of being open and time perspective and initial connection. If you go into the situation open and there's an initial connection, if you spend enough time with that person, you're going to develop an attachment to them. Mm-hmm. And then that attachment is going to lead to deeper levels of intimacy, and that's going to lead you to love.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
But so if you do that with every single relationship you have, you think it'll develop to love? If that's your approach with every single relationship?
If your connection is on the same level, yeah. Like, I can say for me and myself personally, in the past, I've entertained situations that I didn't really care for the person or like to be around them a lot, but they were cool. Mm-hmm. And so no, that's not going to lead anywhere because I really don't have a connection with you. Mm-hmm. You just more so here to like fill my time, and so you kind of irritating for real. So I really don't want you around. Mm-hmm. It's just cool. But if you like really fucking with somebody, y'all gonna vibe and connect on a different level where you gonna want to be intimate. You gonna want to share things with them. Like, y'all gonna have late night talks and express secrets. And so I feel like a combination of all those things leads you to love. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's like because you're having like a succinct dose of like all these chemical emotions being released with this one person over a steady period of time, and you are like focused on that, or if it's like just like I said, time and perspective, like you being open, y'all having like a genuine connection, and y'all spending the time to like explore that. Because I feel like if you do have a genuine connection with a person, you'll usually end up loving them if you like explore it for real. Even if that love ends up being like on a platonic level, you'll still have some type of like real care and like affection towards like their well-being and like how they're doing outside of like you.
I hear what you're saying. Explain that really good.
Guess it's my turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, what I think love is it just a chemical reaction? No, far from it. I think that science and its need for constant logic always has to put A plus B together. Science is really devoid of spirit, and that's why I think sometimes it's flawed, I think. But for me, and on my quest of what love is, the reason why I said love is the ultimate truth is because love is not cute. And there are different levels to love. When you first meet somebody, we experience what we call attraction. So really, is it love at first sight? No, because love takes to get to real love, it takes time to cultivate and to grow. It's definitely different levels to love. The thing I think we get the misconception about love is that romance is love. Romance is not love. The kissy, huggy part about it when we first meet somebody and we just always want to lay up under them and stuff like that. And we always taking them out on dates. That's romance. That is not love. That could be a part of love, I guess, but it's not love in its totality. Love is really not this cute thing that we had aspired it to be. And when I love you with my daughter, I have to be truthful. When I'm with my mom and my dad, they have to do things that might not necessarily feel good all the time because they're being truthful with me. And because of that truth, I believe that you have an ultimate love for me and that you love me genuinely if you can be truthful with me. Even more important for that, can you be 100% honest with yourself? Because if you don't really truly, I hear a lot about self-care and self-love, but if you can't be 100% honest with yourself, then you really can't share love the way it should be shared with other people.
I think being honest with yourself is kind of like, it's not nomenclature because that's not the right word, but like counterintuitive, I guess, or like, I don't think it's the right word to tell people, because being honest with yourself implies that you're capable of lying to yourself, and that's not the truth. When you tell yourself, or when you act in a fashion that is outside of with how you feel or what you really think, you know that immediately. It's not like you've tricked yourself. You just refuse to accept who you are. And so I feel like people need to not really be honest with themselves, but have acceptance of self.
Right. So,
because if you don't accept who you are as a person, you can't accept the love that somebody else wants to give you either, because you don't necessarily feel like you're worthy of that. I don't see me as this. I feel I'm this person, and that's who I only can accept love as. But if you start to see through that persona that I put out and love me for who I am, or love me for the things that I don't necessarily feel like I should be loved for, that can cause issues, because I have an issue with being loved for that, because I don't think there's something of value in me. And so I feel like you have to accept yourself before you can like even know what love really like looks like.
Right. And I think people are really, really scared of it, for real. Like I told somebody, we're just like when we meet somebody, oh, I like you. We don't even think like when we with other people that we're sharing love for some reason. Like when we meet somebody, like, oh, I like this person, or like with our girlfriend or boyfriends, like I'm really liking this person. And I ask somebody, well, where does like exist in the universe? Like, where can you be like, oh, I can go to Planet Like, or I don't know, like there's a light garden over there. Like, where is it at tangibly that you can take, like, not that love isn't like a tangible thing, but people feel love, so it exists somewhere. But like is like, how do I put this? I feel like we rename love to avoid how love truly makes us feel, and it makes us feel super fucking vulnerable. So when we meet somebody and we be like, oh, I like you, we're just really calling love something else by a totally different name. And this fear of love is really what's got us all fucked up. And that's why we just kind of shy away from it. And that's why it's easier to say, well, it's just your serotonin and the oxytocin when you meet this person. And you can totally quantify this in a whatever.
I don't think science is correct, but I also feel like science does its best job of answering questions in the most provable way. And if it's not provable, it's like we can't worry about that because this is all we can tell you for sure. And so if you just look at science as like, it's just here to confirm a couple of things and also let you know that there's some other things that it doesn't know about. And so I just take it for what it is. Science confirmed these things, and other things it can't confirm. And so if I look at science like that, it doesn't necessarily make me feel away, because you can confirm that when you're with someone that you feel like you love, these chemicals are released. So that can be confirmed. You can't confirm that that person also accepted themselves and is fully like into who they are as a person. And so I can understand why you wouldn't add that into something where you're like, all right, these are the things, because if I go and try and do that and confirm that myself, I might find someone who says and experiences the same serotonin level releases and things like that, but doesn't like accept herself and doesn't know like self-love and self-worth. And so then that disproves everything that they've tried to like say. So they're like, nope, fuck that. We only doing this because this is what we can prove. And so I'm like, humans are flawed and we don't know everything. So science can't know everything. Right. So science knows what it knows, and what it don't know, it don't know. And so it's like the English dictionary versus like science for me is like the English dictionary of the world. There's lots of other dictionaries and lots of other languages that science doesn't have any of the answers to, and that's completely fine with me. So yeah, but I think that, like you said, it's not just serotonin release. It's not just you liking someone. I feel like you can like things, and I think like is less being afraid and more being uncertain.
Right, like a fear of being vulnerable.
I don't think it's a fear of being vulnerable. I think it's a being uncertain about how I really feel about this. Because if you like something, you're kind of neutral on it. It's cool. I like it. But when you love something, like, you're into that. That's what I love music. I consume music. Like, I love reading. Like, those are things like I'm really like, that's what I consume. I like pizza. So I might eat it every once in a while, but it's not nothing that's like a major like driving force for me. So I feel like there's certain things in life that are just neutralities, and that's okay too. But we call them likes because we need another word that's we feel like is more positive than negative, because people are based off of like how you feel about things. And so if I say I'm neutral on pizza, you assume that I'm negative towards it. But if I say I like it, that's a positive thing. So when you offer pizza, you're like, oh, Tony, I'll have some pizza. If I'm neutral on pizza, I'll also have some pizza. I didn't say that I don't like it. I just don't care about it. It's pizza. It's cool. I'll eat it. It tastes good. So, but I think that people are also afraid to say that they love people. And so I feel like you can like things, but you have to like be more like conscious in your interactions with people. because people are like energy drains or like energy deposits. And so either people are going to take energy from you and leave you with nothing because that's who they are, and y'all energies don't mix where there's no, can't say the word, reciprocity. There we go. Mm-hmm. And if that's the situation, then yeah, no, you got to get rid of those people. You can't just like them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just like those people.
No, those are the ones that have to get the fuck out of here.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, I know.
I
How do I feel about love, though, in general?
Love is this shit. I love love.
I love it.
Oh, that's
I
what
love love.
'Cause you said you feel like love is ultimate truth. What does everybody else feel like love is?
I have no true definition for love. Me personally.
What does love look like for you or to you?
It's nothing that I can put into words. It's really not.
It's like a consciousness.
It's
like you
straight
can't.
feeling, like I have no words for it. I really don't.
In Interstellar, she said that she was like, even though it's not numbers and whatever I can quantify, but it's something that we don't yet understand that could possibly, because I think what she was trying to go to the planet, but she could not tell them logically why we should go to this planet, because her boo was there, he went there, so she couldn't risk the whole mission on just a hunch, an intuition. She was like, I know it sounds crazy, but I know he's there, but for some reason, the love that's drawing me through universes is pulling me towards this man. And even if we don't find this, even if we can't find what we're looking for, there has to be something said for my love for him. Why is this pulling me through time and space and dimensions? I can't explain it to y'all, but it's definitely something that we don't understand that's bigger than what we're trying to make it out to be. And I think people's lack of understanding of what love is, because I think everything is for real love. It's just that I'm not gonna say we programmed to fight against love, maybe, but then you gotta think of like your primal desires to survive and how survival is completely devoid of love. So
I mean, if you think about, well, in my opinion of how people maybe used to live or how they used to live, we did shit out of love for the earth and the universe.
Right. Even
though we had to survive.
Right, so you can never, I don't think we was ever truly in a state of like pure survival, like niggas hunching over and just like complete, like you have to like I think we had to do something like that, but I don't think it was, I think everything was in balance to where like no one was struggling like how he is now. Like if we got rid of all the grocery stores, we'd be fucked up.
No, we wouldn't.
Y'all be fucked up.
I feel like,
excuse me,
that, I'm going to Home Depot.
People's love is too rigid. People have too rigid of a definition of love.
Yeah.
I don't really want to put any words.
I don't think I have a definition.
But I mean, maybe not us, but I also feel like everybody here in this group is probably a lot more spiritual than they are religious.
Yep.
And I feel like that has a lot to do with our openness to what love is, because most religions give like a little cute version of what love is. Love is patient, love is kind. That's the Christian and like that's everybody's favorite quote and shit like that.
It sounded so like, love is patient, love is kind.
That your mom got hanging on her wall.
Love isn't both for it, so look for like so.
I think that's what we bamboozled at. That love ain't supposed to.
But love is ugly sometimes. Sometimes love is
very
mean.
Transformational.
Sometimes love is me being angry and hostile towards you, but
because
those are all born out of the same place, and for you to only say that it looks one way is to put so many restrictions on something that creates so many other issues. Because now when love doesn't look like that, and when love isn't expressed like that, you don't know how to accept it. You don't know how to even recognize it as love. You're like, why don't you show that you love me? When love is showed it so many times.
Right.
I'm showing
it the whole time. But you can't recognize it because of
just like, so I feel like love has to be like also accept it. So that's what I'm saying. Like acceptance, you have to be willing to accept love from other people.
And it's definitely different levels to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it's from the, if we're gonna call it like that very small level of a whole spectrum of what love can be, from like the very base level. I actually think like sex is an expression of love, because when you come into completion with somebody, like your masculine and your feminine part, like even if you're like in the same sex couple, we know like somebody's more masculine and somebody's more feminine. So those things coming together to complete that wholeness when you having sex, and you completely wrapped up in the moment. Like nothing really exists but that pleasure, that freedom that you feel, like you butt ass naked, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like pushing things into you to make you feel good. They're like rubbing all these things, and like you feel complete ecstasy. So I think sex is an expression of love, even if we sometimes just use it like.
I feel like I agree with that. I feel like sex is an expression of love, especially, or in a sense when it's the way that we express love where there are no words. It's the description of I love you, but I can't tell you what that is, and how y'all are saying that y'all don't really have words for it. I feel like sex is that in physical form. That is the how you express like your love and a level of intimacy that you want to reach when you can't do it through just a verbal approach alone.
I have a comment.
Yeah.
That might explain why I'm a hermit.
You don't love nobody. You don't love these hoes. He don't want to feel no love. Don't love on Jones. Let him be stoic. He gonna figure out all the world's problems. He gonna solve world hunger at 35.
World hunger. I'm hungry now.
I'm so bad. I'm hungry now. Anyway, y'all have had a wonderful episode from us. We talked about dreams randomly as fuck. Off of a pig. We talked about immortality.
This description gonna be wild as fuck.
Hey, we had a good episode.
Agreed.
Yeah, this was a great conversation.
Agreed.
Yeah. I feel like we definitely have like
that day pigs were from the grave.
a relationship tone to this podcast, but with like a philosophical vibe to it as well, because we're all like pretty like open to like new ideas and shit like that, and just exploring shit. Especially Ash should just come in here and want to know why niggas want to live forever. Don't question my immortality. I'm trying to be out here all the time, every time. Yeah.
All the time and every time. Anytime. Not sometimes.
Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, motherfucking notification bell. I'm going to be like all the other YouTubers that say that. I'm going to say that every time now.
You have to.
Like, I don't even know why.
You're fucking deer.
I feel like y'all should know to hit the like and subscribe if y'all like the content and y'all want to see when it come out. Y'all should like and subscribe. I mean, that's just, and then if you want to get like notifications, like hit that little bell so that way, boom, when we put it up, because you know YouTube's algorithms now are on some trash, and they don't say shit when new shit comes out. But yeah, follow us on all of our social medias. That shit'll be up. You know, all the Instagrams.
Follow that shit.
We out here. Yeah, it's been a Conscious Reconstruction.
Did you do it yet?